When I decided to have my abortion, I was hooked on IV drugs. I was going through a divorce. I was a single mom of 2 kids. I didn't know what I was going to do.
I had just turned 18 and had the last fight I was going to have with my parents. I was feeling ill. I went into the doctors. My doctor brought up the possibility that I could be pregnant and we should check that. And my heart dropped.
The day that I experienced my first miscarriage, I was about 8.5 weeks pregnant. And I had been holding on to the hope that I'd be able to keep this one. It's kind of the death of a dream that we'd had.
Fear spoke louder than anything in my life.
I didn't know what to do. Lots of tears, shock.
It was a feeling of being very alone and feeling like everybody else had what I didn't have, and they could all have children, and they just did it because they could, and I couldn't even have one. And that was after years of trying and finally getting pregnant for the first time.
In my mind, there was no other alternative but to have the abortion.
On the way to the appointment, I was pretty much in shock. I don't think there was a lot of feeling going on. I mean, honestly, I was in a very cold place. Very cold place.
Most heart-wrenching experience I've ever experienced in my life, and it was too late. There was nothing I could do. And then afterwards, I remember being wheeled, going into the waiting room, and they had all these little red construction paper hearts. And they handed me my construction paper heart, and they said, "Here, you need to write an encouraging note to all the other women that are going to go through this." And I wanted to write on my red heart, "Run. Don't do this. It's the worst thing you'll ever experience in your life."
So, in total, I had 3 miscarriages in a little over a year's period of time.
Me and my husband actually had gotten married, and we had decided that we were going to have kids, you know. I remember being in my doctor's office after my second miscarriage, and I remember telling my doctor, I said, "This is God." This is God, because I didn't want the one, but now I want these ones. And that was very hard. Realization to come to that how I disregarded human life and how precious it was to me in that moment. I don't think God was trying to punish me. I just think this was a natural consequence.
They asked me if I ever named my child. I didn't think I deserved to name my child, but then he became my son when I was able to do so.
It hurt, but it also caused me to turn to God and find a very close relationship with Him. I serve at CareNet because I know what it's like to have a choice that is not liberating.
I serve at CareNet because I know what it's like to be a post-abortive woman and to grieve the loss of my child.
I serve at CareNet because I know what it's like to experience the devastation of losing 3 babies.
I serve at CareNet. I serve at CareNet.
I serve at CareNet.
I serve at CareNet.
I serve at CareNet.
I serve at CareNet.
I serve at CareNet because I know what it's like to be a teen mom. To live with shame.
To be pregnant at 15.
To experience an unplanned pregnancy alone.
To be a vulnerable woman.
I serve at CareNet because I know what it's like to also be set free and forgiven from all my sin, even abortion.
I serve at CareNet because I'm living proof that there is healing and hope after an abortion.
I serve at CareNet because I know what it's like to receive God's grace.
I serve at CareNet because I know what it's like to be freed.
I serve at CareNet because I know what it's like to receive freedom and hope after losing a child.
I serve at CareNet because I know the joy and the privilege of raising 2 beautiful children through open adoption.